Welcome back to Raised by Her.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Oh, I feel like my voice always goes up. I'm good, but I really am good.
Okay, I'm glad you're good.
You know how some people's voice goes different and you're like, I wonder if that's actually true. The only thing I'll say is that I did not get a lot of sleep last night.
And what was the reason for that?
I was trying to figure that out. I was like, why is my mind racing? Like, there's nothing big that I'm worried about or on the edge of for the coming week. So I was like, I don't understand. Maybe it was all the Halloween candy.
Too much sugar?
Yeah.
You were on a sugar high?
Or seeing the cool costumes from the kids that came by.
Okay, that's good. What kind of costumes?
I would say actually 25% of the kids didn't dress up at all.
Oh, no.
I know.
Oh, and you gave them candy anyway?
Well, so Hugh was responsible for he was really the person who was giving out candy, and I just teetered in the background while and also tried to manage my dog Truffle,
Okay.
who goes berserk whenever anybody approaches.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I could only see bits and pieces, but the girls all had really cool costumes, but the boys, there were some that looked like they were getting back from basketball practice, and I was like, "Sir, you got to work for the money. I mean, not work for the money.
You do have to
Work for the candy. Yeah, you got to work for money too.
Right,
Got to work for the
right.
candy."
Yeah.
Oh.
I had a good turnout. I was really happy because last year and the year before, not as many kids, but this year, great costumes, a lot of superhero characters, a lot of characters that had to do with cartoon popularity. So it was
So you actually like having a ton of kids. This is actually a point of conversation in a meeting, like the conversation before a meeting that I had this week, where half the folks were like, "Yes, we want to have a bunch of kids stop by our house," and the other half are like, I get tired, right? I'm trying to relax into my evening, and then every 30 seconds I have to get up and then manage whatever's at my door."
Yes, I enjoy having a lot of kids. I enjoy the creativity because I ask the little kids about
You do enjoy creativity.
their
That's right.
costumes.
You're highly
And
engaged.
yes, and the parents that are standing, about 20 feet away, like the fact that I'm engaging with their kids and asking them how did they choose their costumes and tell me what you are. And so it's a conversation, not just trick or treat.
I'm on some community forums, and so we only had a few trick-or-treaters this year, which worked for me. But I was on a community forum, and a neighborhood that's not too far away from ours said that they had 300 kids stop by, and I was like, "That's literally my worst nightmare."
300.
Can you imagine? But I was like, "That might be your jam."
No, not.
Are you sure?
I don't think I have enough candy for 300
That's a good thing. You
kids.
really have to monitor,
Yes.
one piece for you, one piece for you.
Exactly, because when they go in and they take that handful and put it all in their bags.
So that happened. So we got our candy from Costco. So the big bags, and we only had, like I said, a couple kids stop by. Maybe the second or third group. There was a girl that came by and she took a few pieces, and I think it was my husband who was like, "Oh no, take some more," and she took half and of the big bowl and then ran. So she knew she was wrong.
Oh, no.
That goes back to what I was talking about last week. I was like, I don't know about these
Okay,
kids.
no, no. Well, I had some, I would say preteens that had some great costumes. They were some big, huge heads, and I mean, they just really got into it. Some kids were dressed in Ohio State costumes, and they
Oh.
had little drawings on their faces, and so yeah,
All in all, a
you know,
good Halloween for
it
2025.
was a good Halloween, and I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Mhm.
And, I will just catch up on my sleep.
Maybe it was a sugar high. That's what you think. Did you eat a lot of the candy too?
I didn't actually. I did save it for the children.
Oh, okay.
And I was excited because halfway through, I was like, "Oh, I'm actually gonna keep some of the candy that I like," but that's not in fact, not what happened because this terror child came and grabbed all the candy, and now I'm like, "Well, I'm
About how old was she, Donica?
old enough to know better."
Okay.
9, 10, 11.
Okay. So you must have had something she really liked. You know how there's some kids that they pick and they choose, and then some just go
I
and
will
grab.
admit that we did get the candy somewhat early, and candy is my go-to. That is my dessert and my snack.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And just like and so I had been picking at the Costco candy. So what was left was really kind of stuff I didn't want, like an Almond Joy or a
Mhm.
Snickers. I'm
Which
like,
I
"Nobody wants
really like
those."
those candy bars, so, okay, but that's some pretty
So you would have been happy with it then.
I
Yeah,
would have yeah,
I had already eaten the Twix and the Skittles and all of that out of
okay.
it, so.
The Skittles are really popular, kids really like Skittles.
I just saw a clip that it is one of the worst candies to eat, or to have your children consume uh, during this time frame, and
Why?
is some doctor on some clip that I saw, she was saying because of the sugar content, it's one of the highest, sugar contents as it pertains to candy,
Mhm.
and so, choose differently, or
I
choose
see,
differently for your
well,
children.
except it's the fruit taste, so you sorta think you're getting some fruit even
Skittles
though
is one of my favorite
yeah,
yeah, yeah, and I was after listening to it, I was like, "I don't know if I'm deterred."
oh, well, yeah,
I just I
no,
don't know.
okay. It's so Halloween 2025 is now in the history books, so
It is, and we are now revving towards the rest of the holidays.
that's
We're
right, yes.
what's next for us? Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving is next. We used to have a conversation at the radio station that was when should we start the Christmas music? And I like to start early.
You probably like to, because you will do, like what does Hallmark do, like, Christmas in July and everything? You will start early.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I do. And so so yeah, well the here's Christmas movies are already started. So they started in October, so
On what channel?
all of
Hallmark?
them.
Oh, all of them? Really? Okay.
Well, there are a couple of 24-hour networks with Christmas movies now, and it's kind of cool. Hallmark is one, and then there's a Great American Network, which is another, and so the movies and they're on 24 hours a day. The Christmas movies.
I do, and my sister-in-law is like that you guys have that in common. You guys will just, like, sit there and watch the movies and the movies. I guess I I just watch streaming, so I guess I just consume content differently. So I'm not even really aware of what's going on regular cable TV,
Right.
because I'm just
Mhm.
picking and choosing on my different streaming
Well, one of
services what
the
shows I want.
nice things about, well, whether it's streaming or whether it's something on one of the cable stations, certain networks, the shows are going to be happy shows. The Once Upon a Time and They Live Happily Ever After. So you just kind of know
It goes the wheel and I
it is because I also watch a lot of news and that.
yeah,
And the news today is challenging across the board.
not a happily ever after at the
Well,
moment. It's
no, no, and I'm really concerned about, some of the cutbacks, the government being shut
yep,
down,
that's fair.
the fact that they're ending some programs,
Mhm.
SNAP programs, that's really challenging for food banks, and so there are people who are just suffering, and what we have to do is give them some hope. We have to help them and maybe give them a break here in believing that, life is gonna get better sometime soon.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we will see what
I
happens.
mean,
Yeah,
what's the old saying? "Just keep living,
just keep living. That's right.
and then you'll see it all."
Now see, that's a statement from your mother, your grandmother. How about
I think that goes all the way back.
It's true.
All the way back.
Yes, you keep living and you'll see what's gonna happen.
And then you'll see, like, the repeats and all the things.
It is a cycle. It
That's what
is
it
a
is.
cycle.
Yeah,
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
cycle.
It is a cycle, so Mhm.
Alright, so what else have you been up to this week? Well, have you been sleeping?
I've been sleeping pretty good. I've been on overload with sports. I love sports, all kind of sports. And now we're at the end of the World Series. Game 7 will be tonight, so we'll see if the Blue Jays or the Dodgers are going to win. And it's been a great series. They had one game, Donica, where normally it's 9 innings in a baseball game.
Mhm.
It went 18 innings.
How
18
long was that? Because baseball games are already
yeah, long,
long.
long. Well, the games this year have been, they've speeded it up. So they changed the rules. So the games are not as slow as they used to be in terms of the baseball games. But two games is what you would have in 18 innings. So it was like a double hitter, but it was one game.
You
And
know, it really used to blow my mind, and I feel like it was my introduction into baseball, was my grandfather and him listening to baseball, and I was like, "But you can't see any like, how can you just sit there and listen?" He was like, But he just did it," and I was like, "What is happening?"
he loved baseball. He loved the Cincinnati Reds, and we had an elderly uncle that used to live with us, and he loved the Los Angeles Dodgers, and so Daddy and Uncle Roro would just go at it all the time. But anyway, this is the end now of the whole season for baseball, but we're in the middle of the season for the NFL football. We're in the middle of the season for all the college games in terms of football, and we just started last week the NBA. So it's like I'm on sports overload. Love it, love it, love it, but it's a lot.
It's it sounds like a lot. How long is this gonna go on? Like, okay, so we're in the beginning of November,
Yes.
so we are in sports overload until
Well, some people may not feel that way, but I think so. I think, well, there'll be the season because, the Super Bowl will be after the first of the year. So that's when the NFL will be ending. March Madness comes up, and that starts a whole different series in terms of college basketball. So there's a lot of overlap here.
do you prefer professional or college basketball?
I prefer college basketball, but I watch professional basketball when there's some of my favorite teams. I love the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Why do you prefer college over professional?
Because I think that the players are more exciting. The game moves really fast. I like the competition. In fact, I believe one of the reasons that the professional basketball team started taking younger players
Mhm.
is because the game was so exciting on the college level. And there's so much talent out there. So,
I just think it's so interesting. I'm fascinated by the fact that I don't love watching college basketball or even professional basketball because I loved basketball for so long.
yes, you did.
But I think for me, it's like if I'm not the one playing it, if I'm not on the court, then what's the point?
Well, you could play because girls' sports has just been so competitive now, and we now have the WNBA, and the girls are out there and they are playing. You would enjoy it. It's very competitive.
We've always been playing, we've always been competitive.
Oh, that's
Folks are just now tuning in.
that's true.
Actually, that's funny. So that reminds me of my husband and I were still living in DC, and he didn't really know about my sports background or, my basketball background in particular, but he also loves basketball,
Okay.
and he loves to play, and he used to go to, like, the neighborhood court and shoot and do, like, the pickup games and everything.
Okay.
They also had tennis courts over there, and I was a tennis player as well, so
Right.
sometimes I would go over or I'd be walking the dog or something, and they were short one person one time, and so he was like, "Do you mind, like, stepping in for a little bit?" And I was like, and I was in my little tennis outfit,
Oh,
right? So I wasn't even, like, in like, my basketball shorts
but I
or
bet you looked cute in that little tennis.
yeah, I looked like a tennis player, and so I was like, "Okay, okay, I'll step in," and I killed it. And my husband was like, "What is happening?" And the people and the team that we were playing against, they were like, "You were trying to hustle us." And it was became like a whole thing. And my husband was like, "What in the world? Why didn't you tell me?"
You were good. I mean, you were the free throw go-to person, and you played a guard, and you could play a forward. I mean, you were really
But I didn't say anything because it's, like, no longer part of my life. I didn't want him to think that I loved basketball, as much as he loves like, I didn't have any interest in every weekend going to the court. I just happened to be there, and he was like, "Oh, no, we could definitely they're not gonna
but
see you coming," and I was
we
like,
did it. Uh-huh.
"That's,
That's
this is a one and done.
I love
This is a one
it.
and done."
I remember when we were at a family reunion and the guys were out playing basketball, your cousins, and they needed an extra player. And you said, "Okay, I'll go out." They go, "And you can play basketball?" And I said, "She's good." And they go, "Oh yeah, right."
Do not underestimate the women in your family. We can do it
Exactly
all.
right. Yes, we can because we are doing it all on one level or the other.
Across the board.
Yeah, yeah.
Sports and all the other things.
So,
We didn't care.
but it's been a good week because the World Series has been great and just a lot of sports.
Well, I'm glad that you're being entertained and that you're truly enjoying it. Like, that's a reason, to not get any sleep.
Well, yes, I think that all of the different sports channels now, there are a lot of new sports shows. So it's not only a really growing industry in terms of women and participation, but just about all day long, 24 hours a day, you can find a sporting event on maybe it's soccer or maybe it's tennis or maybe it's golf or
Can I tell you the sports crossover that, caught my eye over the past couple weeks was, Angel Reese, okay, but she walked in the Victoria's Secret fashion show.
Did she?
Yes, and
Was she modeling?
she was modeling. She looked fantastic. I mean, her body is pretty incredible, um, and she has a lot going on that she didn't know she had going on because she has all, like, the basketball clothes, but she also got, like, quite a bit she's always getting criticism for one, but, like, some of the models were like, that she's not a real model, do we really wanna
Oh
bring
my
it was
goodness.
her and there was, I think, like, some gymnasts that was walking as well, and so it wasn't just her as a sports.
Were they invited or was
They were invited. They
okay.
were invited. They were part of the promos. They trained. They did all that they were supposed to do to be a part of it, and they were
Mm,
fantastic, and they looked
okay.
great. And of course, the criticism ultimately doesn't matter because you're not a Victoria's Secret angel.
How about that?
Um, but anyway, that's when you talk sports, I'm like, oh, the one that walked in the Victoria's Secret fashion show. You're like, well, I was talking about the WNBA more generally, and the NBA more generally,
Right.
and the NFL and college, but I'm like, oh,
That's
the
pretty cool though.
it is. I love to see the crossovers of industries.
Mhm. Yeah, it is. So it's all good.
It's all good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else?
Well, you asked me had I been sleeping, and I think sleep is one of those topics where it just comes up a lot. My friends and I talk about it, male and female, and it appears after a certain age, it's very difficult to have a good night's sleep. It has to be intentional, and you have to really look at your patterns and your habits, and maybe sometimes, there is something on your mind, but maybe it's just the fact that you don't have a good late night routine.
So how do you practice good sleep when you can? What tools do you use? What techniques would you recommend?
Well, as you know, meditation is always good. So I think 3 things that I know that are real important. Make sure the room is cool.
Mm.
Make sure you've turned off all of your devices so you're not seeing the blue lights and you're not being interrupted by things going off
I don't feel interrupted with the phone in the bed.
well, but you're supposed to turn them all off if you want to get
Do you really do that? Do you turn off
sleep.
all your devices?
I did not while mommy was alive,
Okay.
because I always wanted to be connected. But now, at the time that I decide to go to sleep,
Mhm.
I will turn it off if I'm thinking about it because I don't want to hear the
You don't want to wake you up.
well, I don't want it to wake me up, but people text all
I
night
know.
long. I
Oh my
mean,
god,
they
I know.
they do, and so I just
They need to practice
I
better
put
sleep
it on
hygiene.
I put it on silent, and then I'll in the morning, the first thing I'll
You'll
get it
take a
back.
look.
Yeah, I will do that. But also,
Some people can't sleep without, like, the what do they call like, the white noise of it all. T them not so much the phones, but I've heard of people not being able to sleep at all unless they have the TV on, and things of that nature, so I think that's
it's a bad habit, but,
mm. You're saying they would sleep better if they would just turn it off
well,
and then
that's what they say.
readjust.
The sleep
That
experts
is what they say,
say
it's
that
true.
in fact, they tell you that it's not a real good idea to have a television in your bedroom. I don't remember when I didn't have a television in my bedroom, probably when I was a little girl. So, I think from college forward, there's always been a TV someplace close
Oh,
to the
yeah,
gate.
you didn't allow me to have a television in my bedroom
No, I
growing up,
didn't.
but then I got an iPad, so I was able to then watch what I wanted because it makes it's this convenience. It's
But
just
you didn't have an
convenient.
iPad when you were in high school.
Did they have iPads when
That's
I was
no,
no,
that's why I said
exactly.
that's why I said
iPads hadn't been invented yet, so
right, right. No, but I didn't have, a, television in my bedroom when I was young and growing up. I didn't think it was necessary for you to have a television in your bedroom because we had other TVs in the
in that house,
household.
yep.
And so I didn't want us separating as a family. I thought it was more important for when we're watching TV for us to watch TV together.
I think that makes sense. That makes sense.
You didn't
It's
like it at the time.
well, no, and I could see folks pushing back, yeah, and myself pushing back, but in hindsight, I think that's a really solid decision, and one that experts probably recommend moving forward too, if possible, like well, I think they say, like, limit devices overall
That's
for children, just now that we are into it, we are seeing all the negative effects of kids being raised by their devices.
so it is important to be able to just have certain rules and regulations. So it's good to be able to go to bed about the same time every night. You used to have a time that it was your bedtime when you were growing up.
So these childhood habits, I mean, they just when did they fall away? Probably college.
Mhm.
I would say once I was left to my own devices, I switched it all up.
You did.
I
You
switched it
did.
all up.
And so maybe that's the other reason you didn't get a lot of sleep last night. You don't have those good habits that mommy taught you when you were before.
Could be. Yes, yes, could be. I'm trying to think, like, what really helps me sleep well. Not eating a late dinner,
Yes.
so not having a full stomach really helps. The cool room helps. I like a dark room
Okay.
to actually, eventually, I'm gonna get the blackout blinds
Mm.
'cause I really want, like, pure darkness.
Okay.
I mean, I like my phone.
Do you have an eye mask that, you wear and earplugs?
I
Oh,
find that
the
to be
earplugs.
disruptive.
Okay.
The eye mask, I don't really want anything on my face. A silk pillowcase,
Yes.
by the way.
I have a silk pillowcase
Um,
as well.
oh, but earplug yeah, because my husband snores,
Mhm.
and so that's
That
that's
that
necessary.
helps.
Yeah, but that's something I had to get used to, though, the earplugs, not the snoring. I'll never get used to the snoring.
Well, one of the things that I know from getting my Sleep Number bed, a few years ago, that if you have a partner that snores, they tell you you can raise the other side of the bed up, and that really, can help the snoring scenario. So, I have a Sleep Number bed, so maybe you wanna try that, and that might
We
mm,
looked into it, actually. Yeah, it's on I think it's on the list. It's on the list of things, like, when we get
eh
a new bed, it will for sure be a Sleep Number, actually, because 'cause we've been in the stores and gotten our numbers and gotten the firmness versus the softness and all the different
it works.
amenities
It's
that
really
they
kinda
provide.
cool.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
People rave about it.
Well, I
That's why they can charge those prices, right?
That is
So you
true.
are the
But
best.
for me, it had to do with, my back, and I was having some back issues, and so having the numbers that you can make your bed harder or softer, I thought really helped, so
You felt the
yeah.
difference.
I did. Now, I'll tell you, initially, I thought it was just a gimmick.
Mhm.
But I did feel the difference, and I was thinking that your father had said a few years before, "You know, we really should get one of those beds." I said, "It's a gimmick, it's too expensive, but
Mhm.
experience has taught me that, it does work."
Beds matter, so not just the bed quality, but also sheets, like
Mhm.
sheet quality.
Yes, yes, the thread count. So, there are some people that won't sleep on a thread count that's less than 500 or 1,000, but the better the thread count,
The better the
oh,
sleep.
the better it feels on your body.
I'm just gonna say the better the sleep.
Okay, alright, you can say that.
The better you feel, I feel like the better you sleep.
And they do suggest, taking a nice bath, bubble bath before going to bed
Do you still
can
take
help
baths?
so not enough,
They're so time
but
consuming.
they're so good for you. They're good for your body, they're good for all that ails you,
I have a mentor in my life, all she does is take baths, and she blocks out the time, and I was like, "You can just" as a matter of fact, she just moved into a new apartment, and, when she was or a new condo, when she was remodeling it, they were like, "What about the shower?" She's like, "Don't worry about the shower."
It really does make a difference, and if you use Epsom salts in the bath water, that's really good for your muscles, and you'll find that the older you get, the more you wanna pay attention to all these little special things that you are doing for yourself. This is really body love and self-care.
I was talking to I recently reconnected with a cousin, and, I love that for me, I love that for us, I love that for our broader family, and she listens to this podcast, and she was like, "You all talk a lot about self-care."
Mm.
And I was like, "Do we?" She was like, "Yes." I was like, "Huh," but then when I thought about it, I was like, "Well, we really prioritize it in our lives." Like, if we're talking about our lives, we have to talk about the intentionality that we put behind all the self-care that we do, because it
But
really is a
that
thing.
is a lesson from Rosa, from my mother. Your grandmother really believed that she was going to live a long life if she took care of herself. And she had to learn that because she said, generally, women will work 24/7 and they're taking care of everybody else and they're doing all these things, whether it's at work or whether it's for family. And in the olden days, it was necessary for the women to make sure that the family members all had everything that they needed.
Mhm.
So I thank mommy when she really decided she was going to take better care of herself and then really reiterating that for me, and then I wanted to reiterate that for you.
Well, I think that you did I mean, 96 94. 94 isn't bad.
94 wasn't bad.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
that's a long life.
Yeah. And her mother lived into her mid-90s as well. And so did my great grandmother. So, we have that lifelong.
Mhm. Yeah, we're a long living family, I would say. In terms of the self-care, though, I'm glad that she introduced you to that because I don't know, she worked a lot.
She did. She worked.
I mean, we all work a lot, but it was different back then, I think. And also, I don't know if I saw the self-care. I saw the healthiness piece. But in terms of like prioritizing rest, she probably knew the importance of sleep and wanted to sleep, but I don't think that my grandmother probably slept that much
No,
either.
she didn't because she loved reading, and so, and it was real important for her to read a lot, several books,
And she'd
at
read
a
like
time.
multiple at a time. Right.
Yeah, yeah, she would, and I would say, "Mommy, why do you have this book and this book?" And then she would tell me what it was she was reading and what she was researching, what the story was. She felt that reading was an equalizer, though.
It
It's
is.
so important to be able to know what's going on in the world, and so she really felt that the more she read, then the more informed she was, the better that we all are.
I don't think that there's anybody that is well-read, that can disagree with that and saying that books, in fact, are the real equalizer, not just for current events, but for understanding your history
That's right.
and in turn, understanding your present and then, um, being able to also think about the future.
Absolutely correct. And the more you know, especially today with a world that is just changing so fast.
All the disinformation and misinformation
That's
and all that.
exactly right. So you need to be able to be informed in terms of what it is that is real, what is fact, what is true, and what has actually happened
Mhm.
historically, so that you can have a clear understanding.
I used to love to read, but law school killed it for me.
What do you mean?
I mean, so I used to read all the time. I don't know if you
Yes,
probably
yes.
no
Because
shock because of you and my grandmother.
you had books around
Books
you.
are yeah, 24/7, but then law school required me to read really big, boring books
Oh,
and study them and memorize them. And it took the joy out of
I
it
see.
for me.
Okay.
And so it was at that time in my life where I stopped reading for joy. And then I did actually try to balance it. I tried to, study the law, but then also like switch to a book at the end of the day
Mhm.
or whatever. But it didn't hit the same because I think I was just so tired from reading. I did survive law school without ultimately needing glasses, which I also hear not everybody's able to do, but the
Sure.
sheer volume of content that you have to consume via reading, it just killed the joy for me, and I haven't been able to pick it back up. Maybe eventually I will.
Audiobooks are very popular and it's gained a lot of, I think, not only popularity in terms of multicultural, but also multi-generational. And the head of audiobooks was a guest speaker at an event that I went to at my college several months ago. And he indicated that throughout the world, the popularity of the audiobooks has grown because people have found that they can hear the books, listen to the audio, and still be informed. And it's a new way of being able to stay tuned to what is really going on.
That's interesting. I've tried the audiobook thing. I think that I don't like that. Uh, I don't like that either, but I would rather read than listen to somebody talk. And I tried it was, Obama's first book, The Audacity of Hope,
Hmm.
I find I enjoy his voice, but I was like, I'd rather just read. But I do like to listen to podcasts.
You do? I know.
Yeah. But yeah, I think in terms of but even, like, when I'm on social media and I see clips, I have the audio turned down and I'm reading the auto
Okay.
captions. I guess reading hasn't totally left me. Maybe I'm finding the joy in other ways and in other forms.
Well, I think that you can pick it back up at some point when you either want to know something or if you decide that it's relaxing for you. See, for me now today still, it's very relaxing when I'm sitting there and I'm reading something, especially if it's something that I'm interested in. Now, I will read informational books, books that help me to be informed
Yes,
about what's going on.
right.
But then I also like to read just the novels and books that are kind of the beach trashy books too. So
What are the
the
beach
romance,
the romance novels.
yes,
Yes, yes, the romance
romance novels.
novels.
Yes,
I hope to pick it back up. Actually, I hadn't thought about it in a long time, but I think I'm going to try to pick reading back up for joy. Because 'cause you're right, I do have to read for all the other aspects of my life professionally, but I guess there is some joy in that, but, like
Yeah.
but truly for, like, the leisure of it all.
I think, yeah, I think that that will help to bring joy, and also it's relaxing, and since we talk about that self-care again, so this is a way to be able to relax and maybe to relieve some of that stress that's out
So I can sleep.
there.
Read so I can sleep. So you like one of those people that
You can
the
you
book
can
falls on your
fall
face and
that
you yeah.
that's right, that sounds good. Excellent.
Yeah.
That's a plan.
It's a plan. I think we're good.
Okay, well, I hope you have a wonderful week.
Thank you. Oh, wait, no, we can't stop yet because
Why?
I wanted to talk to you about you planning for your travel because you are
Oh,
traveling yet
yes.
again.
Yes, yes, I am. I am.
How do you how do you pack?
Not well.
Because this is an ongoing conversation between the 2 of you,
Well,
and my packing has evolved over
your
time.
packing has evolved, not well. I am going to a conference for one of the social organizations that I'm involved in. It's an African American women's social organization, and what's great about this particular trip, one, it's going to be in New Orleans, and that's one of my favorite cities
Eat a beignet
in
for
the
me,
country.
please.
Yes, how about that? Yes. And because it's a social conference, in addition to the business that we have to take care of, they have a lot of special events where they want you to wear certain kinds of outfits. So the Mardi Gras theme, of course, is
Oh my gosh, that's right up your alley.
so yeah.
We have the exact opposite response to that.
Um,
Like, "You have to wear this." I'm like, "What?" And you're like, "Yay!"
yes.
My goodness.
So they and then they have a jazz night, and so just really special requests for the attire to be a certain kind of way. So I love that too.
This is what your 70s should look like. You know what I mean? Traveling across the country to your favorite cities, doing your favorite things with fun people, having new experiences, being able to dress up the way you want to dress up. I mean, this is what I intend my 70s to look like.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that because it's intentional.
Yeah.
It is definitely intentional. And because I am blessed to be able to travel and to do some of the things that I want to do, but also I've made it a priority to make sure that I am having fun.
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
been working since I was 16 years old. So I remember that. I remember that first job. And so from then until retirement, and now I'm doing some consulting and a few other things that I enjoy, but it is so important to be able to balance life out because
Happiness is a choice.
happiness is a choice and it
Yeah.
has to be intentional. You have to do it. But to your question about packing, I've never been a really good packer. I've always overpacked. I've tried to do better because you've tried to help me to learn.
I've developed requirements for my traveling companions
Yes,
over the
yes.
years.
So you don't check luggage most of the time.
It delays, getting you from point A to point B. My ideal situation, is to land and immediately get in the car and go to where it is I need to go. I don't wanna get off and then wait for the luggage, and then, of course, there's been times in my life where then the luggage is lost, and I just don't even wanna deal with it. I just wanna get off the plane, get in the car, and go.
So that means that you can only have 2 or 3 outfits that you pack in your
You know,
your carry-on.
you have to prioritize. So I think you can either be outfit focused or cosmetic focused or shoe focused.
I'm all of the above.
I which is but you can I mean, yes, yes. I have found it easiest to, narrow down the shoe options.
Not yet.
You're like, "No,
Not
no,
not
I'm
yet.
not there yet."
I want shoes to match the outfits that I have, and it's real important for me to be comfortable, so, but I also wanna have my shoes that look cute with the outfit that I have since we're supposed to be dressed a certain kind of way or be
Cute,
in a certain.
comfortable shoes exist.
Well, they yes.
Nothing
Yes,
tells
yes,
me that you
yes.
can find 2 in the same or 1 in the
That's true.
same.
That is true. So, but I am trying to be better. I'm trying to
You
to
are.
to not have 2 or 3 suitcases like I used to have years ago. But now you have to pay for them as well, so
Right.
it can be expensive. But I'm being intentional about how I'm packing, and I'm matching up the different outfits, and I have learned to be more color coordinated too. I used to be all over the place
Really?
years ago.
I don't think anybody has ever described you as all over the place. You might have felt that way at one point, but you were not ever presenting as all over the place.
Okay, well, I do now. I try to be a bit color coordinated, and when I'm planning, and but we are having a gala, a ball, and so it's important to take a
That does make it tricky.
a long dress,
Mhm,
and
that you don't want
it's
to wrinkle.
of course, and you have to make sure you have the right shoes and the right purse and the right jewelry. So there's some challenges there, and we've been to some conventions when we've had to have hats and all
Mm,
those.
that's true.
I do, and I love hats, and so um,
I still
but
think it's possible. And I stand firm in that. And so because I traveled so much and sometimes I'm traveling alone, but a lot of times I'm traveling with other people as well.
mhm,
They don't take me seriously when I say these are the things that are required in order to travel with me. So for example, I need you to have all the security like the TSA and clear and so we can just again walk through and go directly to the gate or directly to the lounge or go directly to wherever we're going. And if folks don't adhere, then they get left. And then, like, then feelings come up. They're like, "I can't believe you didn't wait with me." I was like, "I feel like I give folks enough time."
mother has experienced this.
I know.
You took me to, Iceland, which I really appreciated, a great trip, but I just couldn't pack the way that you packed for that Iceland trip. I tried. I
You
tried.
Oh, wait. No, no, no. You got it. You had you for sure, if you were traveling with me internationally, only had to carry on.
I know, but it was so heavy and so difficult, and I couldn't push the suitcase up on
Well,
it was hard.
yeah, I did see the struggle, and I acknowledge the challenge there, but then I just picked it up for you.
You
I was like,
did.
"This is just part of
Coming back, I
living."
checked the bag.
You did.
I did.
You're like, "Donica, I'm pulling rank here.
Correct.
We're done."
Exactly, but it was challenging. That's okay. Get through it. So,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess it's individual, like,
yeah.
different things for different folks. It only can become an issue if you're traveling in packs, but then also maybe you just do your own thing, you meet up with folks at the hotel. Whatever works.
It works.
I'm so excited to hear about this
Mhm.
trip.
Yeah, so I'll be able to tell you all about it and all about the outfits, etcetera,
Love that.
and because New Orleans is one of my favorite cities, I'm just really looking forward to it.
Talk about a city full of culture
Yes.
and flavor and color.
Culture, flavor, color, the food, yes, all of the above, and it looks great. Even now, after Hurricane Katrina and all the challenges, they've been able to bring back the French Quarter, and they've been able to, I think, solve some of the problems, and so they're just great tours, so much history there, and, yeah, well, mm,
Excellent. Well, safe travels.
thank you.
Pack well.
I will. Yes. You'll be in my head when I'm packing a couple days from now, okay?
I'll see you
Yes.
next time.
Okay, sounds good.
Uh,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye, sweetie.